Good morning. It is Wednesday, May 17th, 2023 at 6:31 a.m. in my locale. Yes, I am wearing a nice shirt because I got out of the shower, but I still got to change. Today is a work day. Okay, so let's get into it. 78 degrees. I've already been outside, right? 4:30. Not with the big guy, with the big guy. Let's tell you why I have not posted in a day or so. Hello, Woo Woo. And no, that is not my dog. That is my partner's dog. And she and her husband had to run out to Utah for a graduation, so I am going to have a husky for a week. So let's get started. Where was he? Well, he's had a couple days off, and he's been taking care of things. What have I been taking care of? You name it. Monday, I went to town. And Monday, when I went to town, I gotta tell you, it was different than I expected. It was not violent. It was quiet. It was easy. Am I paying attention to things? Yes, I am. Are they blocking stuff? Yeah, hell they are. Did I see a lot of empty holes in the stores I was in? No. Did I see more of a push toward the self-checkout? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. The cashiers at the Aldi were saying, the self-checkouts are open. Please use the self-checkouts, like they were programmed. I used the self-checkout. I, of course, wore my sunglasses, but I used the self-checkout. I don't like that. I mean, well, put your information down in the contents, right? Put them in the comments. See, I used to use the self-checkout a lot when I had to go to a place called ShopRite, and I used it because it lowered my interaction level with people. It was like, I can get my own stuff. I can do this, right? I can just check it out and I can leave. Fine. Way back in the day, this is in the early 2000s, I dip my toes into the online shopping, right? And I would, because I had an infant daughter. Toddler daughter. And so I would order all the other stuff online that I didn't have to go through the aisle for. So, the milk, the eggs, the bread, all the things you don't have to pick out. And then I would go in and I would get my produce and my meat because I'm picky about that. So I want to make sure I get the right stuff. And then I would swivel around, go to customer service, pay for that chunk of it. And then what I would do is they would take it out to my car with my infant daughter, and I was fine. I did dip my fingers in the Google Pay. Very convenient, but kind of creepy. So we stopped doing that. Now, it's pretty much cash. I just don't want to be followed around. Remember, leave me alone, right? Right, woo woo. Right. All right, so let's go to hello woo woo. Let's go to our daily Zen poem. Because now we're going to have something for about a week. It's going to be called Woo Woo Moment. Right? Woo Woo Woo. Right. So we're going to have Woo Woo Moment. So let's go to our daily Zen poem. Where the white clouds are deep, water forms a bay. Just a few thatched huts along the shore. My rustic nature cannot get used to city living. With a sweep of my brush, I paint mountains that remind me of home. Muratse Tuatsu, 1804-1881. My rustic nature cannot get used to city living. With a sweep of my brush, I paint mountains that remind me of home. Wow. That's me, right there. Speaking about people that are me, come here. Hang on, woo woo. Everybody saw you. Nobody has seen. Oh, God. The obligatory case of you. Who, by the way, is being very good with this husky. Oh, yes, it yawns, yes. Yeah, good snort. He's been very good. 2 snorts. All right. And a big snort. Okay. He's been very good with this husky. For some reason, I know woo-woo. For some reason, he doesn't growl or snap or anything else at this dog. But then again, this dog is like a husky that, Queso was raised with, which was named Denali. I did have a red and white husky, and that dog was a couch potato. And Denali knew who was in charge. Queso. So, let's go to our daily rune pull. Oh, no, it's not food. Say, look at this. She's not used to this yet. Within a week, forget it. This dog's going to live with me. Forget it. Let's go to our daily rune pull, and we got... Oh, hang on. Let's try it again. And we're going to turn it over in. This was the rune that was not originally part of the runes. This was kind of added in by Ralph Blum and kind of added in by one of the other people who was doing rune interpretation. Okay. There was always in the rune system, there was always one that was just empty. And that's that one. They treated it like a spacer, but in this case, it means something different. It's called the blank rune. The unknowable. The god Odin. Blank in the end, blank in the beginning. This is the rune of total trust and should be taken as an exciting evidence of your most immediate contact with your own true destiny, which time and again will rise like the phoenix from the ashes of what we call fate. Now, the blank rune can portend a death, but that death is usually a symbolic death and can relate to any part of your life you're living. Relinquishing control is the ultimate challenge of the spiritual warrior. Yes, I can agree with that. The unknowable informs you that it is emotion in your life, and it is the blankness that is held undiluted and full potential. It is both pregnant and empty. It comprehends the totality of your being, all it is to be actualized, and if indeed the matters hidden by the gods, you must only remember what beckons is the creative power of the unknown. Drawing that blank rune brings to the surface your deepest fears. Will I fail? Will I be abandoned? Will it all be taken away? And yet your highest good, your truest possibilities, and all of your fertile dreams are held within that blankness. Willingness and permitting are what this rune requires. How can you exercise control over which is not yet created? It calls for no less than an act of courage to empty-handed leap into the void, and it is a direct test of faith. It represents karma, the sum total of your actions and their consequences. And at the same time, the rune says that the very debts of old karma shift and evolve. And as you grow and evolve, nothing is predestined, and it leads to new beginnings. When you draw this, take heart and know that the work of self-change is progressing in your life. I think that's beautiful, considering I haven't been working a couple of days. Hello. Because they did something, I told you, my schedule. Now it's 4 days on, 3 days off, which is fine. We'll get through it. But our little book, let's go. There are 6 types of ill-fated armies: running off, lax, sinking, crumbling, chaotic, and routed. Now, these 6 are not disasters brought about by heaven and earth, but by the general's errors. Now, when their strategic power is equal, 1 attacks 10, it is termed running off. If the troops are strong, but the officers are weak, it is termed lax. If the officers are strong, but the troops are weak, it's termed sinking. The higher officers are angry and insubordinate, engaging the enemy themselves out of unrestrained anger, while the general does not know their capabilities, it's called crumbling. When the general is weak and not strict, unenlightened, and his officers and leadership, they are called it says that unenlightened in his instructions and leadership, the officers and troops lack constant duties, and their deployment of troops into formation is askew, is chaotic. If the general, unable to fathom the enemy attacks a large number with a small number, attacks the strong with the weak while the army lacks a properly set vanguard, it's called routed. Now, these 6 are the Tao of defeat. Any general who undertakes responsibility for commands cannot but investigate them. Seems kind of martial, you know? It seems kind of like we should take all this into account. You've got my rustic nature cannot get used to city living. Okay? Maybe you are living in a place that you can't get adjusted to. Okay? We talked about the rune of the unknowable, the idea of karmic shift, the idea that you have to go do something which you can't really control. You just have to kind of jump into it. And then we have that, which talks about how armies fail. So let's pull it all together, right? You know your nature. You know if you're in my case, can't live in a city anymore. Done that already. Done that twice. Can't do it. You know your personal nature. You know what you don't know, which is that something is going to happen and you have to learn to respond properly to what happens instead of trying to control it. Okay, that we talked about that last week, right? The whole idea that, I'm not big on go with the flow. Only dead things go downstream. I'm not big on this. I'm much bigger on control of that situation. I decide if I'm going to get in the water. I decide if I'm going to swim up or down. I'm not just going where the current takes me. Some of you are very cool on that. You love go where it flows. Hey man, if it works for you, that's great. It doesn't work for me. And the third thing is looking at these armies. I apply this to the place that I'm working now. Their corporate structure seems to me to be very short-sighted. They were talking about year-over-year projections, and I keep shaking my head like this, like the old man in the room, going, you're not doing year-over-year projections, you're doing quarter-by-quarter projections. And since we are in a seasonal technical work area, that doesn't work. You can't apply that to this. It doesn't work. They seem to be doing the standard corporate, promoting the least and keeping the best. They promote the least, the people who are the most obedient and probably the least capable, the Peter principle, right? Up, and then what they do is they keep the people really doing the work down because they have to get the work done. If they promoted somebody who was doing the work and moved them up, well, then they don't have somebody who's doing the work, which does make a lot of sense. At the same time, it doesn't make a lot of sense. People should be rewarded for hard effort. And if you are rewarded for little effort, then I hate to say it, I want to know who you're sleeping with. I want to know who you're obeying. I want to know where the drugs are. Because you're not here by your skills and merit. You're here because I don't know. Where are you going to go today? That's a great question. Are you going to be that effective person, who my rustic nature cannot get used to city living, and you're just going to go off and do it? And maybe that empty rune will tell you that you just have to just get in and get it done, and don't worry about the other stuff. Push past the fear and do the work. And then, of course, the other one is what we learned about how things are going to fail. If a general doesn't understand those things, then his army's going to fail. Well, if the one thing I can say from having worked in academia, corporate America, nonprofit, I can tell you all very simply and very easily, it doesn't fail. See, the system props itself up. So they were more prone to fire the unhappy people and then just shuffle the checkers around and then try to get the most money out of it. And if they can't get any money out of it, then they sell it for parts. And that's the way it is. I think some of the brightest and dumbest people I have ever met worked in both academia and corporate America. Okay. Some of the smartest people I have ever met. Like, you're going to the Institute for Advanced Study every Thursday and giving a lecture. That's pretty smart. I've also met deans of medical schools who are so dumb that they are nothing but thumbtack, paper pushing, awful. Absolutely awful. So I think the goal for today is, what are you going to do? Are you going to be a thumbtack, paper pushing, just follow orders, just do as you're told? Hoping for that next step up, that next promotion? Or are you going to live your life on your terms? My rustic nature cannot get used to city living, and I may be a little afraid to step out today. However, when I step out today, me and the universe are going to just do what needs to be done. I think that between all those things we read, I think you know what to do. So I am going to feed Woo Woo over here. I'm going to feed Queso over here. And I am going to say to you, have a great day. Like I said, didn't have a video on Monday, Tuesday. Monday was travel day. I told you what happened. And Tuesday was, clean everything up and get ready for our guest day. So that's okay too. Most important thing I can say to you is, please be aware when you go out in public. Be aware when you're around people. Things are getting a little stranger, and they're getting a little more weird. I'm not going to get into the politics of the situation. I'm just going to say, where we live is no longer the place that we wanted. So I want to make sure all of you, as you grow and explore and do things today, don't forget this. And please, put the phone down. If you're going out, especially ladies, if you're going out, don't. I'll take it from Patara. Don't go out alone unless you absolutely have to. There's no other option. If you have to go anywhere, go during daylight hours. Try not to go in the evening. Our world, our universe that we're seeing right now is becoming very anti-you. And when I say anti-you, it means I just want to buy groceries at a good price. I want to be left alone. It's becoming anti-you. Between the cameras and the questions and the everything, forget about it. It's just, I had a good experience in town the other day on Monday. I have to tell you, it was good. Less violence, no fighting in aisle 5, right? Clueless people walking around a parking lot. I weigh 7,000 pounds when I'm driving, and they're just walking right in front of it. They're not even paying attention. You have to be courteous when you're driving something this size. So you got to pay attention. Pay attention. Just take care of you. And I will see you guys. It's Wednesday. Oh, it's Wednesday. I'll see you guys at 6. And hopefully we'll have a report on Woo Woo. All right. Have a great day.